Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a political compass. This is the Stardew breedability chart, where we're gonna be taking every single villager and ranking how breedable or dominant, submissive, or unbreedable they are. I'm sorry, just before we get into this, I'm sorry. I wanna start off with Carolyn, the mum of Abigail. I think she's caring. I think she's a motherly figure. And she gives you tea when you're sad. I think Carolyn is right in there. She's motherly, she's caring, and she's breedable. Who have we got next? Maru, one of the bachelorettes that I know least about. I never really romanced Maru. She doesn't give me the vibes of being like super extreme in any of these, you know? I get the vibe she's like slightly down here, like a you take the lead sort of individual, you know? Gus, he's a working man and he's a little bit older than I would say probably Maru and Carolyn. We don't know if he has a wife or anything. We don't know anything about that. I think he's like a run-of-the-mill, like slightly masculine dude, you know? Like he's definitely not breedable. We ain't gonna chuck him. He's not on this section at all. You don't look at that man and go, yeah, breedable. Grandpa, okay, dead grandpa who gives you his fun. Okay, grandpa is an interesting one. Before he's off to the other world, grandpa is bedridden. Grandpa's not getting out of his bed. If you're going for grandpa, you're gonna have to be the one that gets on top. You're gonna have to be the one who takes charge with grandpa. He's not doing much of anything. He's like 100 years old. He's well past due-by date. It's gonna be a puff of smoke that comes out because he's bedridden and because he's so old. He's very submissive and very unbreedable. He's right in the bottom left. He's right down the bottom. Bouncer. This dude is just the dude who stops you from getting into the casino. There's a few characters in here I don't really know a lot of. You and Mr. Q. But the bouncer literally just tells you to not go inside the casino. Tells me what to do. Pretty dominant, not that breedable. Pretty dom in my opinion, right up the top. Sam's the most boring bachelor out of all of them. He's got really nothing going for him, you know? He's pretty middle range. You can't talk to him and say he's up here. Maybe a little bit down this way. If you catch him on a good day. He plays in a band and he's a skater kid. I think he's a little bit over this way, but I don't think he fits on this axis here. I'm gonna put Sam slightly, about in range with Maru, just slightly less submissive. Gunther. Library man. Now everyone loves a man who runs a library. You can't tell me librarian is not a sexy position. He's a curator for a museum and he reads books. It's a pretty sexy position. He gives me a little bit more breedable vibes, but look at that hat he's wearing and tell me that's a dominant man. I think he's down here. He's breedable, slightly submissive, but he doesn't mind. He doesn't mind coming up here a bit. The governor. He's got a bit of money because he wants to buy a summer home. Would you look at this man and say breedable? He's the governor. He's got a bit of power balance there. Not unbreedable or breedable, but he's slightly dominant. All right, Maurice, the dude who owns Jojamart, the big old baddie of the world. Instantly, he's in here. Not breedable. He's a power freak. He's a capitalist. I think he's right up here. Completely dominant, completely unbreedable. Next up, Linus. Ooh, Linus is a hard one. Probably has sex with squirrels. He's a bushman. You take that back. I'm not saying he's not a kind soul. He is a kind soul, but he doesn't really come into contact with other people, you know? He doesn't come into town. He doesn't talk to people. He likes being by himself. That gives me submissive vibes. He probably smells a little bit. Does he shower? Do we have any? He does live by the lake though. So maybe he showers by the lake. Maybe he's a bushman with good hygiene. I'm sorry, Linus. You're a great character. I just think he fits into the submissive unbreedable. He's not, you know, over here with grandpa in the shooting dust area. I just think he fits over here. Penny. I feel bad putting Penny on this. You gotta do it? Okay. Sweet, kind human being. She's very reserved. I think she's like here. I don't know how much I'm gonna put her this way. I don't want to put her too far this way. I think she's over here. But her mum, Pam, come here, sugar tits. Come give Pammy a kiss. She definitely pulls out a ciggy afterwards. That was great. Gives you a slap on the ass on the way out. Pam takes the lead. She comes up to you on the bar. You're coming home with me. When they're all at the bar together, Pam definitely hits on Seb and Harvey. Aren't you a nice young thing? Yeah, you got a girlfriend yet? I'm kind of got a crush on Abby. Yeah, I'll show you the way. I got a nice bed in my trailer for you. She's definitely dominant. Breedable though? She's not as unbreedable as this dude here, because let's be honest, she comes up to you in a bar, you would think about it, but I don't think she's on par with Carolyn. I think she's right here. Birdie. Who the hell is Birdie? Birdie is an old woman who lives in a hut on Ginger Island at the far west of the island. Speaking to her starts the pirate's wife quest. I've never heard of this woman before in my life. Just purely from appearance, Birdie gives me slightly dominant, unbreedable vibes. Marnie! I have a personal vendetta against Marnie. Marnie, why is your shop closed on Tuesdays? How do you plan to make money if your shop is closed on Monday and Tuesday and then you complain about the local economy? That's when we do our shopping, Marnie. It's business 101. Marnie is a romantic. Marnie reads her fantasy stories about the big, strong knight. She wants that really bad, and that's why she goes for Mia Lewis. Unbreedable just because she has her stores closed on Tuesdays, but I think she's slightly submissive. And she sees Mia Lewis up here, but truthfully, Mia Lewis is over here. Disgusting power tripping man. We don't like Mia Lewis in this household. You know what? I was too harsh on Marnie. I put her too unbreedable. Let's put her there. Okay, who's next? Haley. I think Haley, you have to split into like 2 separate categories. In the beginning, she's really mean. In the beginning, I would put Haley dominant. Maybe if you like a mean girl, you would put her over here. But personally, I think she's around. I actually kind of. No. But in story Haley, she's on that side. Way more likable, way more breedable. Mr. Q. Who the hell is Mr. Q? Mr. Q is a mysterious stranger who was encountered when the player puts a battery pack into the lockbox in the tunnel. I don't remember too much about Mr. Key. Submissive, unbreedable. Demetrius. Oh, Demetrius. I think Demetrius is secretly Jack. I think he's secretly daddy. It's something about those STEM nerds. They've got the money, they get the women, and then they go to the gym. Personally, Demetrius is up here with Carolyn. I think he'll pick you up with 2 hands and throw you around. Once that lab coat comes off, the pecs are bulging. Willie! There's something that can't be denied about Willie. He's gonna smell like fish. Now, some of you freaks out there, I know are into that. I think he's here. I don't see him falling into this axis, personally. He's a very sexless character, as many of the Stardew are. I'm sorry I'm doing this. I'm so sorry. The wizard. I can make an argument for the wizard. He's an all-powerful being who can use magic. I think he's the one to be like, nah, we've got to try this. We've got to, you just wait until you try this. Magic users, kind of sexy, kind of fantasy, something a little different. The henchman. What? Unbreedable. George. George is elderly. He lost his ability to walk in the war. But just look at that face. I reckon George is a bit ooh-woo. He's a little spunk. You tell me you wouldn't put him down here? I think George is the most submissive, the most breedable in all of Stardew Valley. Now his wife, Evelyn, where is she? Probably had a few fucking crazy years in her time. And I think if we've got George down here, Evelyn needs to be down here. They've been married for how long? I think a marriage isn't that successful if these two aren't completely compatible. Both breedable, one dom, one submissive. I think they perfectly fall into it. Just my opinion. I just think they fall into there. Okay, next up, Robin. Demetrius is Robin's husband, right? So we need to take that into account when ranking Robin. I think Robin, straight off the bat, is somewhere in the dom. She's good with tools, you know? Them two being in this quadrant, there's a bit of clash there, you know? But I don't think she's as up here or as over this way. She gives me over here vibes. Marlon. I feel like we can't do Marlon without his partner, Gil, because these two are together. They're husbands. I think Marlon down here and Gil is like up here. I feel like they don't have a lot of mobility from the years of fighting, so that puts them a little bit more unbreedable. I think they're like this. Harvey, little old Harvey. Harvey's the kind of boy you would run into at a secondhand bookstore and get his number from there, but you would have to go up for him and ask for his number. No way in hell Harvey would ask for your number. Harvey would sit there in the bookstore and he would wait for you to get up from your table and go sit with him. And for that reason, Harvey is right down here. Submissive and breedable. Leah, one of my personal favorites. I think most of the bachelors and bachelorettes fall on the breedable side. They're literally made to be cute. The question is, do you get dominant or submissive vibes from Leah? I get both. So I guess that puts her right in the middle. An artist who's escaped her ex-girlfriend and she wanted to get away from the big city. You reckon submissive, Fuzzy? You reckon she's down here? We've got submissive and switch is the consensus. So I think I'll put her like here. Professor Snail, he's got glasses, he's got a nice little beard. I like his hat. This man is like 98. STEM gets you laid, but this dude is like older STEM. Gives me a bit of like Shutterway vibes. So he's unbreedable submissive. Pierre's kind of gross. No one likes Pierre. I think he's definitely dom. He makes it all about himself. I think there's a reason Carolyn cheated on him. Carolyn wanted a little bit of magic in her life and Pierre wasn't offering that. You know what? Sandy, look at the look she gives you. She gives you that side eye, you know? Dommy, mommy, Sandy for short. Listen, I wasn't the one to say it, but Evelyn, get out of there. I think she's all the way at the top. Krobus. Krobus is ace. Now, I don't know if that puts Krobus like just not on the chart, but I think for the sake of the chart, Krobus is like dead center, right down the middle. I'm gonna put Krobus off to the side for now, and we can put him there at the end. Dwarf. Dwarf's lived underground his whole life. He's gonna have like rough hands, you know? He's been a miner, he owns a business, he lives underground. It gives me dominant vibes. I wouldn't put him breedable though. I would put him quite unbreedable. Now we're really coming down to the big guns. So we're gonna start with Shane. I think Shane likes to be chucked around a bit. Is that controversial? I think he's somewhere in this quadrant. For me, he's just not on this side. I guess when he likes his chickens, he becomes a little bit more breedable. I think he's like here. Actually, I can agree with that. I think Shane's down here. Clint. Oh, for God's sake, Clint. Clint's an incel, a bit of a nice guy, thinks he's owed something. I think Clint sees himself as traditional masculine. He's like, oh, I've got to be dominant because I'm a man. But he's so severely unbreedable that no one will look his way. Kent is like actually a strong dude. He's like sexy masculine. He's like down here. He's what Clint thinks he is. Kent's wife, Jody, she's a military wife. She doesn't take the lead in these sorts of things. Kent takes the lead. I think she's right down here. Those are our final contestants. Let's start off with Abby. Listen, we all know Abby's over here. The question is she up here with Sandy or is she down here with George? Abby is definitely submissive, which you're forgetting though, is she's a goth girl. I don't know, she's goth. She's got the stomping boots. She's a fighter, she goes into the caves, but I think she's here. I think Abby has a collection of whips. It's just, who does it get used on? Elliot. Now, Elliot is another character where I actually have a personal vendetta against. I don't like Elliot. I think he's a little pretentious. I can't deny, I think Elliot is a gentle lover because he likes to think of himself as a romantic. So I think he likes to think that he's doing a good job. I think he is quite breedable. I think he would try to take care of you. He's slightly dominant. Next up, Emily. We had a lot of controversy with Emily last time. Have you guys ever seen Emily throw it back at the luau? Because Emily throws it back at the luau. Like, come on. Like, I'm not gonna put her breedable for that. I think she's slightly dominant. Just depends on, I think it mostly depends on her partner and who she's with. She's got a little bit of something. Alex. Alex is a frat boy. When you first get to know him, he's a little misogynistic, not gonna lie. As he goes through, he becomes much sweeter. So, I think you ask him to put on the maid outfit, he's gonna be reluctant. But eventually he might put on cat ears. I think to begin with, he's not breedable at all. But as you get to know him, I think he becomes breedable submissive. Eventually you wear him down and he'll put on the cat ears. But Seb doesn't need any convincing to put on the cat ears whatsoever. Or the maid outfit. In fact, Seb has his own maid outfit and cat ears in his closet ready to go. When you marry Seb, he's already got the maid outfit on when you return home for dinner from farming all day. Seb's right down here. I'm gonna switch out Harvey and Seb. With Krobus in the middle, this is it. This is our Stardew Valley dominant, breedable, submissive compass. I think this is a pretty good chart. This is where I would put them all. This right here is our final Stardew Valley dominant, submissive, breedable compass. I'd love to know what you guys think. What would you put? I'd love to see if you do your own compass. This will in no way be controversial. Absolutely not. Why would this ever be controversial?